Right, we need to talk about the absolutely baffling mixed messages coming out of Washington about this Iran war, because nobody seems to have any idea what America's actual strategy is. President Trump says American goals may be pretty well complete in one breath, then tells most of his House Republicans, we haven't won enough in the next. He boasts the US has struck over 5,000 targets, but says they're leaving some for later. For later? Is the war ending or continuing? Are we done or just getting started? The confusion is staggering. Meanwhile, Asian stocks have rebounded after oil prices fell below $90 a barrel. Markets are breathing a sigh of relief. The G7 promised to take necessary measures to stabilize the market, and Trump's suggestion that goals are pretty well complete gave investors hope the worst is over. But what if that's wrong? Because in an exclusive CNN interview, a top Iranian official made it absolutely clear Tehran is prepared for a long war and is willing to continue attacking Persian Gulf countries. So while Trump hints the war might be winding down, Iran says they're just getting started. Someone's badly miscalculating here. And perhaps most alarmingly, current and former US officials told CNN that recovering Iran's remaining highly enriched uranium, believed to be stored underground, would require a significant number of US ground troops. Ground troops, not airstrikes, boots on the ground in Iran. That's an entirely different level of commitment. Let's start with Trump's contradictions. Goals may be pretty well complete, sounds like victory achieved. Time to come home. But we haven't won enough. Sounds like we're nowhere near done. And these aren't minor differences. These are fundamentally contradictory statements about an active war. 5,000 targets struck is an enormous number, systematic destruction across Iran, but leaving some for later when, under what conditions, nobody's actually decided when or how this war ends. The market reaction shows the real-world consequences of this confusion. Asian stocks recovered, oil fell below $90, the G7 promised stabilization measures, markets rallied on hope that perhaps the worst is over, but what if the war continues for weeks or months more? Then markets just rallied on false hope and the correction will be severe. And that brings us to the CNN interview with the Iranian official, because it completely contradicts Trump's optimism. Tehran is prepared for a long war, not winding down, not seeking peace, long, prolonged conflict. And Iran will continue attacking Persian Gulf countries, not ending attacks, continuing to strike UAE, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Kuwait. There's no room for diplomacy, according to this official. No interest in ceasefire, no negotiations, just continued fighting until one side breaks. So we have Trump saying goals are pretty well complete, while Iran says they're ready for long war. These positions are irreconcilable. One side is fundamentally wrong, and the consequences could be catastrophic. Then there's the uranium problem. Iran's highly enriched uranium is stored deep underground in hardened facilities. Air power can't secure that. Current and former officials say recovering it would require a significant number of US ground troops. Hundreds, possibly thousands of American soldiers deployed into Iran, into a country of 90 million with a powerful military. Trump has repeatedly said he won't send ground troops, but if securing nuclear materials requires ground forces, then either the goal changes or the strategy changes. You can't achieve an objective that requires ground troops while refusing to deploy them. Here's the bottom line. Trump gives wildly contradictory messages about whether the war is ending or continuing. Markets rally on hope oil stays below $90 and the war winds down. The G7 promises stabilization, but Iran tells CNN they're prepared for long war with no diplomacy and will keep attacking Gulf countries. And securing Iran's uranium requires significant ground troops Trump says he won't deploy. We have confusion in Washington, false hope in markets, defiance in Tehran, and objectives that can't be achieved with current strategy. Nobody knows if this war is ending or escalating. Nobody knows if goals can be met without ground troops, and nobody's willing to tell the truth about what's actually required. This has been The Royal Truth. I'll see you next time.